Hello everybody and welcome to a gear overview video. Now I did say in a previous video, and whether or not I release this one first or the other one secondary, I can't remember what my schedule is going to be like for uploading. But I wanted to do a video where it looks into why I've decided to gear a champion a certain way. This one is focused on Sorcerer Supreme. And this follows a path of me getting my Sorcerer Supreme. I think I've been working on this champion since Christmas Day, so the 25th, and at the point of recording this video, it is the 29th of December. So this has been a 4-day process, and as well, there have been some solo stuff, but as well, there's been a lot of team games. The main thing to really point out is that I have worked very, very hard to get this champion up to where it is. So currently it is, for anybody that might be interested, my champion now sits at a BR rating of 889. But it has required a lot of hard work, and especially a lot of solo-based play as well. I'm just going to find some examples before I go into the gearing, but there's been a lot of times where I've had certain matchups where I've been a little bit disappointed in the fact that I've been carrying teams, and as well I've been pushing those teams from like a solo perspective. I'll kind of find some examples of this. Again, there's no disrespect to anybody else, and there are some bots that do dramatically affect like what happens. But to give you like an example, like I've worked pretty hard. I mean, here's an example here where you can see as a Sorcerer Supreme, I'm doing more damage than other people on my team. That's not a good thing, and it's not a bad thing. This is why I had to make my champion very attack orientated or attack heavy, and it's mainly because of these instances where I've had to be the one that does the highest damage of my team, which is usually, you can see by this here, it's kind of like the most the ones that done the most percentage of damage per the team. And again, it's nothing to like show any kind of disrespect, because other factors do play into it. But if a Sorcerer Supreme is doing more damage than a Hulk or a Black Panther, then there's something really up there with setups, and maybe that's case of finding the right mix to have that. I mean, even look on the other team. That's something to point out. On the other team, the opposing Sorcerer Supreme, even though it's a little bit less, and maybe it's not sporting rare gear, is doing 34% of the damage compared with the 36 respectively and 30% respectively from the other two players on that team. But again, as I said, there's no disrespect with this, because there could be other variables to this. Maybe that then they didn't gear the champion specifically for high damage, and it's more mainly like armor and health, which is something that as a Sorcerer Supreme I'm meant to support. And yeah, just kind of, I should really get to the point of like, how am I gearing this? But that kind of well rounds the support of the idea around this champion. Is a support champion. So why have I decided to make it incredibly attack orientated or attack heavy? Well, there is good reason, as we've just seen, that I want to be the one that's doing the most damage of the team and helping out as much as possible. So let's go over the stats. Okay, so advanced information, you can always go to advanced and it comes up. Armor, there's no point. Like, I'm a ranged champion. I'm mainly situated around utilizing the book, and in particular the tome. Sorry, the tome. I should call it a tome. The tome of Ushta. Weird name. But anyway, my tome is again very, very attack orientated, but as well it's got utility to it. And I'm not just about being selfish. There will be instances which I should have uploaded a video today, which will showcase me utilizing and thinking. I'm playing with Slayer and as well, I think it's Paximus. And what we're trying to do is also use that shielding. So use that SP3 that I've got in order to help out. So the shield of Seraphim, that's what I'm trying to use. I'm trying to use that as much as possible, but also as well try to be a utility champion. And support by healing up. Sorcerer Supreme instantly heals nearby allies and then conjures an aura that heals those that stay near. And that's something what I'm trying to do. Is kind of be close and help out, which you would have seen today. A little bit of both. But I also want to do damage, and that is why the SP2, Light of Nirflon, calls upon the powers of Nirflon to deal mystic damage and inflict weakness to all enemies in the target area. And that's, again, as I said, that's where I'm loaded up. That's where my my kind of attributes are attributed to in my stats. So as I said, don't need armor because that's not really what I'm about, and that's I'm trying to like help people out and keep it distance. I don't want to be hit. I want to be keeping it distance. I don't want to be hit. So that's why I'm all on attack as opposed to things like armor and health. And my health is also boosted, which is good, up to 1,654. My power is at 54. Could I be making that better? Of course I could. But the main thing that I'm working on to do is improve my attack power, which is at 264, which is very attack heavy, especially for a Sorcerer Supreme. But it's the way I like to play, and it's the way that I can assist my my fellow players in when I'm fighting. My critical chance 5%, critical bonus is 20%, mystic power is 43. My mystic resist is 91, and shock resist is 90 as well. And that just comes with some of the different types of gear that I have. And let's go over that. As I said, I do possess an Orb of Cosmos. Will I put that into effect? Maybe. There's something there with a heavy attack attribute that actually works very well with the synergy that I do have, or synergized gear that I have. And but look, I like my armor while shielded, which helps out massively for my SP3. The light attack power and as well the health. It is a pretty low, it's a recruit level one, and I really would love to, and this is why I'm saving up. By the way, look out for my crate opening coming soon. This is all free to play, grinding at the moment. I'm free to play at the moment. I don't know if I'm going to be going into being a pay to win. I don't know if you can really pay to win because a lot of this is skill based, but at the same time gear plays the difference. Although I'm holding my own in people, in tiers that are kind of a lot higher than me, so you know, it is what it is. I'm going to go for a few of these, but that's going to be in a later video, especially because it's going to be a big crate opening. I'm going to go for some Storm Defender gear as well, so look out for that very, very soon. But yeah, gear-wise, I would like to get an orb, but it's got to really fit into my playing style and what I like. The next thing is that I really need to get a better headpiece even. I think it's just there because I like the quick thinking. Quick thinking is plus 5% cooldown reduction. I mean, that's sort of helpful. It's not ridiculous. Like, more of a higher percentage would be great. And I'm still rocking recruit stuff whilst I'm in Defender. So that says a lot. Like, I would love to get some really kind of strong Defender-based gear, whether or not it's epic gear or not, but I have to see how that goes. But I'm still, like I said, I'm holding my own when it comes to being up here. And as well, I'm being very selective. And one thing that I'm trying to do is hold on to my Raw Celestial Remnant, because I don't want to spend it on stuff just yet of gear that is maybe in recruit or lower that I want to then focus a bit higher. So if I do that, if I kind of like go, okay, let's push the button, spend all this Raw Celestial Remnant, then it comes to this new gear opening, this crate opening, and I get some really decent stuff. And I'm like, oh, I've just spent a load on my other things. And I'm like, well, I could have been spending them on this Defender level stuff. And I'm like, or warrior level stuff, or this rare stuff, or this epic stuff. And I'm like, not quite sure about this. So that's one of the key reasons I'm holding on as much as possible to my Raw Celestial Remnant, just in case. But this piece here with the chest piece, picked this up recently. And as again, just to reiterate, I'm a free-to-play player, okay, at the moment. And the War Mage's mantra, every 10 seconds gain a Disciple stack. Max 10, gain plus 7 heavy attack damage per disciple stack. This is why I'm using my heavy attack more. And that's what you'll see in some of the gameplay, is I'm ramping up the usage of that heavy attack, as I know now my heavy attack damage is going to be greater. So this may in the future point me in a different direction of how I gear my Sorcerer Supreme, because I can increase my heavy attack damage. And looking at things like weaponry, going, okay, well, I know I've got this on light attack, but if I had something that kind of benefited heavy attack now, then that kind of gives you an idea of changing that up. Say for whatever reason that I get a new amulet that's got heavy attack orientated, and that could be a refocus for me to do. But yeah, we'll move on now to amulets. And another part of the Ominous Presence. Now, I think because I only got 2 of these, this is how I get this. I don't know if I have because I have 3 in the same type. I don't think I get all 3. But, you know, I don't know. I could be wrong with it. It just comes across this is only a set of 2 as opposed to like having the 3rd thing. So maybe I'll have to think about like how I change this up. And this is a work in progress for my Sorcerer Supreme, but I'm really pointing out how I gear it and why I gear it currently in the way it is. All's going to be changing with that crate opening, I'll tell you that. Mystic Resist, handy when you go up against other Sorcerer Supremes. Light attack power, as I said, that is one of the key functionalities of why I'm gearing the way I'm gearing, is to then have that improvement with the attack power and the taps as opposed to the heavy attacks. And also the specials as well. But yeah, debuffs you inflict on foes are plus 15% longer. To be honest, that works out for me better than when using the orbs, especially with some of the, I think it's the Crimson Bands of Cyttorak. I think that, or maybe it doesn't on a debuff. It looks like there is a debuff. Curses all, no, based on damage during the curse. Maybe it's the curse. Maybe it's the SP2 curse that you can get, the Kraken's curse. That could be that with a debuff. So maybe it's going to be a value with that. Maybe it won't. When it comes to the leggings, well, this is where things really kind of change up for me. And you in the back, special power versus distant foes. I'm finding that so good at the moment. When I'm throwing my SP2, I think I'm doing at least 300 damage upwards for using that SP2. So that's really effective and also fun. And my methods are pretty good in kind of inflicting as much damage as possible in that particular arena and stuff. So look, Mystic Power, healing, health even, is still pretty effective. I recently picked up this, the Crusader's Mage Cloak, which goes well with Telecaster. Now this is great because it's got Mystic Power improvement by 23, but also a hell of a lot of health, which is great, and especially allowing me to hold my own. But I have other options there if I want to. I can go down that route with that, although that gear is a little bit higher for me. And then we've got that, while slowed, plus 35% special power. I don't plan to be slowed. I plan to be keeping my distance. So the Telecaster Synergy boost, on dash end, gain plus 24 special power for 3 seconds. This bonus increases by plus 24 per disciple stack. And again, like, I don't know, because I'm stacking Disciple. I'm doing Disciple stack with the likes of the chess piece, which we've seen a moment ago. It could be incredibly. I think it's a chess piece. I'm gonna assume it is. Yeah. So there. That's giving me this really strong edge to my damage output, and I really do like this. So I'm loving the synergy groupings that I've got together with these. This gear, you can see on screen at the moment. Actually, it looks like the gear does actually kind of like work well with it. So yeah, look at all this kind of like the synergy, like it's heavily synergized, and I'm really enjoying this. As I said, this is free to play. This is a free, we know it's a free to play game, but as well, this stuff is grinded out free to play. How did I get this? A little bit of luck, but a lot of grinding, and as well, like I picked this all up from like random drops as well. Worked hard for it. Like I did work a lot for this. It's not just a case of got like help from other bigger names within the community, but at the same time, you know, they did help a bit, but as well, this is down to me working hard. It's not just about that. I did a lot of randoms. I lost 100 BR as a result of playing with randoms, even when there was like instances where we saw, like I showed you that image of me doing incredibly well, but unfortunately, things happen. But yeah, that's been my gear overview and why I'm absolutely loving Sorcerer Supreme at the moment. The reason I worked on this was because I was having a lot of problems going up against like me and Dan, Frontline MCC. We kind of like did a stream, and the biggest issue that I had was we're going up against Sorcerer Supremes. 2 of them. So I needed to figure out a way to grow this Sorcerer Supreme that it could independently grind its way up. Big focus on things like attack, light attack, and as well things like special improvement. You got that SP2, it's really nice. SP1, keep people close, healing them up. SP3, putting that shield on, man, super helpful, especially if you've got a lot of tanks. And that's one thing, if you've got a Hulk and you've got a Captain America, super soldier on your team, pop off that SP3. You're protecting the lads as they go in to do as much damage as possible, and you're throwing off that SP1 to keep them healed up. I am utility, I am damage, and that's how I've played, and that's how I've created my Sorcerer Supreme, and it slaps. And it's a very, very effective champion. And as well, I was very lucky with the synergy drops, but these are some synergies and some gearing that I recommend around Sorcerer Supreme. And that's been a little video of a gear overview now that I've got my Sorcerer Supreme to Defender. And yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with her. Thanks very much for watching this video. Check out some other content here on Rich's Realm, and I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.